Orji will talk about a European-wide campaign against behavioral advertising. That is basically web tracking in its most beautiful form. And as far as I know, this is one of the biggest campaigns we have post-GDPR. And just to let you know, Digitale Gesellschaft is one of those organizations that filed the complaints at the data protection authorities, and all the rest, Ozzy will present you all the rest. Please give a warm round of applause to Ozzy.
So first of all, I feel a little bit embarrassed because I plan to explain you what real-time bidding is, and I think I will try to, because probably there are some of you who don't know it or don't know it in detail. But the thing is that I would like to ask you not to ask me technological questions, because I'm actually a moral philosopher and working for this organization as an advocacy officer. So what I do is I organize people to do stuff. I don't do the research behind this. So first, so if you could slow down time, but really, really slow it down, you would be able to see that most of the adverts on websites are just not there. They are not there waiting for you to be look at them. It does take time, though very little, for the websites to serve you with them. And you, so not someone else, so those advertisements are just served for you. So it takes some time for the potential advertisers to measure you up. They see whether your attention worth anything for them, and then they wrestle a bit with each other, and they decide who is the winner, who pays most to get your attention. And then at the end, what happens is that you have very nice advertisements on, say, pink running shoes for people with a neutral gait. And then everybody is happy. At least I would be happy, because I get some advertisement that's potentially useful, something I'm interested in. And besides, I can read the article I want to read. And the advertisers are very happy, because they don't waste money on people who are not interested in running shoes. So no one pours out money on the window. It's all very efficient. And, well, long live efficiency. Unfortunately, this is not the whole story. The whole story is a little bit less rosy. What I have described as a wrestling match between for the opportunity to catch your attention between the potential advertisers is in the world of advertising called real-time bidding. And in those milliseconds, information about that real-time bidding is happening, information about you is being broadcast to hundreds or thousands of companies. This may include information about your exact location, what you read, listen, or watch online, information about your health or sexual behavior, and unique codes with which companies can continue to follow you online. That is through RTB, intimate and very detailed information about you may end up in databases owned by companies you never heard about, without you even consenting to this in any genuine sense. So I have this very nice infographics, probably not here, but here, yes. That shows who is who in the RTB. So suppose that I just open a cafe near Heinrich-Heine-Straße U-Bahn station, and I want to target people who are interested in, say, fair trade cafe drinking. I collect some email addresses. I go to this nice DMP company who gets my email addresses and keeps it in an ordered way. And then they will ask me whether I want to have more information about the people who the email addresses belong to. And I will probably say yes, because, yeah. Demand-side platform. Sorry, data management platform. And then DSP is just a moment. I will figure it out in a moment. So DMP is basically Cambridge Analytica. So they are the companies that have an order, that have a big database of people. They keep it in ordered way, and then so I give them my email addresses. They will ask me whether I want more information attached to those addresses. Then they will buy those data from other companies. They will attach it, and then what's going to happen is that, say, Elizabeth is visiting dailygermany.de. She goes there to the website. The website understands that there is a visitor, and this is Elizabeth. And then their supplier-side platform says that, okay, so here is this girl, what you guys would want to pay for me to have an advertisement in these spaces. And then on the ad exchange, the demand-side platform will make an offer. And then when the offer and the demand meets, then the business is closed and you will see an advertisement. And the problem is that when this is happening, and then there are cookie sinks. And when this is happening, when the bid request is happening, then basically Elizabeth's all data gets to these demand-side platforms, and then they give it to the data management platform, and then who knows what happens to this data. So it seems that there is a massive data breach there, and no one knows who has that data. And then those who are responsible for setting up the standards, the industry standard, that is Google and AIB, they kind of acknowledge that this is happening. They just say that, well, but we trust our business partners that they will collect and proceed with this data responsibly and how they should. And this is not really okay. There are several reasons why this situation is just not really okay. First is because it's unlawful. So according to Article 5 of the GDPR, you need to process this data with integrity and confidentiality. If you don't do your best in order to protect this data from unlawful processing or accidental loss or destruction and damage, and if you don't take the appropriate technical and organizational measures, you are actually disobeying the GDPR. And well, the other problem with regard to the GDPR, that GDPR usually requires consent or some legitimate reason why you need to process this data, but you cannot really consent to this because you don't even know what the other companies are. So, okay, you go into this website, but then you have no idea what other companies will do to your data, and you have no way of objecting to that. That's something the GDPR actually requires companies to have, a way of objection, and you don't have that. And it's not a legitimate way of handling your data when you when you're actually breaching on other people's human rights. The second reason why this is not okay is that it's potentially bad for our democracies. We have heard about the Cambridge Analytica scandal, and there was a massive data breach there. And then all those guys who are working in this issue are saying that the data breach is actually way more pervasive in this case. So we are actually risking having a second Cambridge Analytica scandal. And third, well, we are all personally at risk. So if those data is getting collected into huge databases for a long, long time, there will be a very, very detailed personal profile made on us, and that can be misused in all sorts of ways. But depending on where you are, it can actually have an influence on your job market opportunities. It can have an influence on whether you're gonna be able to close an insurance and so on and so forth. And fourth, the system is such that it incentivizes fringe websites. So I'm actually a quite valuable eye. That is, my attention may well be quite valuable because, you know, I just, you know, make a middle-class salary and so on and so forth. So if I read a site, then a publisher, an advertiser should pay a lot for my attention because they know that I am that sort of person. But if they can identify me as a this and that kind of person who actually usually reads site, they can try to grab my attention in other homepages, like fringe homepages, when I, for example, read something about who cheats on his wife, I don't know, with whom. So there are those websites, you know, you don't admit to read, but you do read. And if I'm there and they can actually target me on that websites, and those websites actually want less money. So basically what happens as a result is that quality journalism gets less money and those fringe websites get more money. So basically these were the 4 reasons why we believe that Civil Liberties Union for Europe that we should do something about this massive data breach. And but before telling you what we did, I would like to make 2 points. The first is that I think it's very important that at Liberties we do not want to stigmatize publishers. This is media companies and advertisers for using RTB. Because, well, actually when rules are not properly enforced, following them is like a prisoner dilemma. So the good guys lose. They may even die. And we don't want that to happen. So we especially do not want to happen that in countries that are already struggling with the existence of free media, so where free media is already in danger of collapsing, basically. What we want is that the regulators enforce the rules and enforce them for all. So that, you know, the bad guys will be the losers, not the good guys. So that was the first important point. So we don't want to attack publishers. And the second one is the due credits. So the person who initiated this campaign is actually called Dr. Johnny Ryan. And it's him. He's the chief policy officer of Brave. And he and his friends, Jim Killock and Michael Wheely, submitted first complaints to the data protection authorities in 2018 to the British and the Irish data protection authorities against the Interactive Advertising Bureau and Google, the standard setters of the 2 systems underpinning RTB, that is Open RTB and Authorized buyers. And then a few rights organizations across Europe followed their footsteps in 2019, and finally in June, Liberties, that is my organization, came into the picture, and we had this nice campaign, this one. So Liberties and its members and partner organizations submitted complaints against this practice in 9 European countries. In Germany, we had 4 partners: Digital Courage, Digitale Gesellschaft, Deutsche Vereinigung für Datenschutz, and Netzwerkdatenschutz Expertise. And they submitted complaint to the state data protection authorities. We have uploaded those campaigns, so you can actually read them and download them. And if you want, you can submit them to the data protection authorities too. We did it for that reason. So some people did already submit them to data protection authorities. But I have to tell you, there is some chance of overburdening the data protection authorities. So that wouldn't really be nice. So it may well be the case that it's better just to send them a supportive letter, so saying that I have heard about these complaints, and then I fully agree that the data protection authorities should investigate in this matter. That would be very nice. We would be very grateful for that. So this is what we did. It's 9 countries and 14, I believe, complaints submitted. Right now, it's too early to say what the results are. Some countries said that they are waiting for the lead authority to proceed with the investigation, and they don't want to do that alone. Some other countries just didn't reply yet because they have 3 months to make an initial reaction. So we are waiting for that, and then when they will react, we will react again. So we plan to push them forward and try to make them really start an investigation and try to convince them that this is indeed an important issue, and they have to be supportive, or they have to fight for stopping this massive data breach at the European Data Protection Board. So, as I said, this is an early phase, and then we will proceed with the Lega thing, but this is not the only thing we would like to do. We would like to have a second phase for this campaign. I swear to God that I will not tell you what the second phase will be, not because, because for strategic reasons it's just not a good idea, but I also swore to God that I will ask you to support our second phase. So how to do this? Well, please, there is this very nice newsletter we have. If you are interested in how to join to the efforts of stopping the data breach, please subscribe to this newsletter. I promise that we will not bother you with unwanted emails. It's about our campaigns. So what I can tell you about the next phase of the campaign is that it's meant to mobilize people. It's meant to explain people what is happening and why it is happening, and who are the responsible persons or institutions for that. And we will try to convince them to step up against it. Well, I think this was it. Thank you for your attention.
So, thank you. Are there any questions?